Good evening, everyone. I would like to start this meeting by recognizing that the area we call the Fraser Valley Regional District has been home to 31 different First Nations for generations. Actions and decisions made by governments in the past have left many Indigenous communities untrusting of the Canadian healthcare system. It is our collective responsibility to keep this at the forefront of our minds as we make decisions as a hospital board. Since the decisions we make have a direct impact on the physical and mental well-being of all community members, Indigenous and non-Indigenous. So with that in mind, I would like to call to order the December 12th, 2024 meeting of the Hospital District Board. Ms. Kinnaman.
Looking for approval of the agenda and late items.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Director Facio, Director McElhonick. Those in favor, contrary, carried.
Looking for a resolution to close the meeting.
Director Horn, Director Gibson. Thank you. Those in favor, contrary, carried.
Okay, just give us a minute or two to set up the room.
Motion to reconvene. Director Castle, Director Barkman. Those in favor, contrary, carried.
Item 7.1 is the draft Fraser Valley Regional Hospital District Board meeting minutes of November 28th, 2024.
Move Director Shahal, Director Kloot. Any errors or omissions? Those in favor, contrary, carried.
8.1 is the Fraser Health Authority annual funding request. There is a motion for your consideration.
Moved Director Horn, Director Siemens. Discussion. Director Horn.
Yes, I think we did a great job of laying out a few moments ago exactly what our expectations are. And I know that Ms. Kinnaman is in more frequent contact all the time. We'll look forward to that contact leading to evidence of traction in the new year. But I support us moving forward in supporting the funding request, and we'll have to deal with 8.2 in a moment. But that provisional budget will set us up for further discussions in the new year. And I think these are the best good faith moves. So I do think we've given good feedback, and I think that feedback should produce a result that at the end of the day represents our region more effectively.
Thank you. Director Lum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I move an amendment to this, I just want some clarification. So the motion for consideration says health blah, 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 funding, capital funding in the amount of 5 million. And I've always felt that giving us the wording of up to $5 million, would that give us the authority to prepare the provisional budget, but not 100% commit if we're unhappy moving forward, or should anything change?
Ms. Kinnaman.
I think we can have our CFO respond to that. My initial reaction would be that it's difficult to prepare a budget with an up to number, but certainly it's a provisional budget, so your opportunity to make changes would be in February, but I'll just look to our CFO to confirm.
So I'll just add what the substantiation, because implied in this is that this is derived from the funding request. So if we approve this approves the request, or we approve this and we still have an opportunity to consider a motion of up to $5 million later on. As long as it's separated, I'm okay, and I won't have an amendment. That's the reason I'm asking.
Thank you, through the chair, to Director Lum. You will have an opportunity to weigh in again. In February, we plan to bring back what we call an assumptions memo, which allows us to confirm all of the factors that go into the final budget, which will come forward in March. And further, In order to provide the capital funding to Fraser Health, we have implemented a process of doing a capital expenditure bylaw, which would need to be passed in order to fund and confirm the $5 million.
Then I will not move any amendments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, those in favor of the motion, contrary, that carries. Ms. Kinnaman,
8.2 is the Fraser Valley Regional Hospital District Provisional Budget Bylaw number 086, 2024.
it's a motion, Director Popoff, Director Siemens. Those in favor, contrary, carried. Motion number 2, Director Reed and Director Lum. Those in favor, contrary, carried. Motion number 3, move Director Lowe and Director Johnson. Those in favor, contrary, carried.
Up next is reports from board directors. Chair Pranger.
Any, Director Gibson?
I just have a query, if I'm allowed, Madam Chair, in light of the delegation and information we received today. Is there going to be follow-up correspondence, if I may ask that? We've got a lot of information here. Director Horn and others have articulated some good points. Director Lum. Seems to me that would be appropriate
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
correspondence
This is
anyway.
for reports for.
Okay, whatever. We can fit it in. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Are there any other reports from directors?
Seeing none.
So moving down to public question period for items relevant to the agenda. We have no members of the public joining us in person, but we'll just turn things over to our corporate officer, Jamie Van Ness.
Thank you. We do not have any members of the public joining us on Zoom today, and we have not received any questions by email or letter. So we can
Thank
move
you.
to the next item.
Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, it's Director, I'm looking at Director Facio, Director Makahonic and Director Reed.
Okay.
Those in favor, contrary, carried.
Your perfect record of 2024 just passed.
Oh, no.
Now it's your turn.
Sorry, Simon, I was trying to very quickly suggest.
All right, good evening, everyone. I would like to start this meeting by recognizing that the area we call the Fraser Valley Regional District has been home to Indigenous peoples for generations. There are 31 communities with reserve lands in the FERD's jurisdiction and as many as 69 groups with interests in the area. This diverse landscape means that there are many different viewpoints that need to be considered when we make decisions, because what we decide as a local government can affect everyone in different ways now and in the future. So, as part of our collective responsibility, I commit that we continually examine the work we do to ensure that our projects, plans, initiatives, and discussion are guided by the principles of inclusion, collaboration, and reconciliation today and in the future. So with that in mind, before I call the meeting to order, so indulge me for just a minute. I promise I will not be using the gavel moving forward, but I will tonight because this gavel was George Ferguson's, who served in the city of Abbotsford for, I think it was 40 years, and most of it as mayor. And this gavel was given to him by the mayor of Fukuoka, Japan, and his widow gave it to me. George is up on the wall there. He served as chair of this board for a while. So just this one time, I want to use this gavel if that's all right. So, oh, that's loud.
Well done. We got you.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you have that ready? Okay, we'll stage it later, Dave. And one more item of business before we actually start the business today. Today, December 12th, is actually the 29th anniversary of the incorporation of the Fraser Valley Regional District. So 29 years ago, we amalgamated the Fraser, Sheen, Dudney, Alouette, and the Central Fraser Valley. John Less was the chair at the time. And so the meeting was held at the Matsqui Auditorium in Abbotsford. And I joined the board about 2 years later when I was just a baby. All right.
You still are.
Yes, in my mind, yes. All right.
All right, Chair Ross, so looking for approval of the addenda, and late items.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Moved by Director Facio, second by Director Dreesen. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
4.1 is the draft Fraser Valley Regional District Board open meeting minutes of November 28th, 2024.
Mover. Moved by Director Clute, seconded by Director Smith. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
Section 5 is committee minutes for information and matters arising. Happy to separate either of those items.
Anyone wish to speak to? No?
Okay, looking for a resolution to close the meeting.
Do we have a motion? Sorry, moved by Director Lum, second by Director McConick. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay, just give us a moment to set up the room.
We are going to proceed with the remainder of the agenda. Can we have the next item, please, Ms. Kinnaman?
Thank you. 9.1 is Freedom of Information Request 2024 statistics. This is an information item, but we're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? No? All right. Next item.
10.1 is a 2024 grant and aid application for Mission Community Services Society in electoral areas C and G.
Moved by Director Castle, second by Director Horn. Comments or questions?
Just a very quick question. Just want to thank Mission Community Services for the work they've done to keep this project going and for the way they've reached out to Campbell First Nations and to these two electoral areas. They're providing exceptional service, but it is a difficult model to keep going. So thank you to the board for support of this.
Anyone else? No, call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion's carried. Next item.
11.1 is 2024 Service Area Establishment Amendments Maximum Requisition.
Okay. There are several motions. Moving motion number 1, Director Lum, second Director McCahonick. Comments or questions? None. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Motions moved by Director Lowen, second by Director Clute. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. And nope, I haven't turned my page fast enough. Next item.
11.2 is Sub-Regional Transit Service Area Establishment Bylaw Amendment Requisition Increase for 2024.
We have a mover of motion 1, Director Reed. Do we have a second by Director Chahal? Comments or questions? None. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Next item. Oh, motion number 2. Director Clute. Second by Director Gill. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Motion number 3. Director Seaman, seconded by Director Dixon. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion's carried. Next item.
Next is our permit section, and Chair Ross, I think there is a script in front of you.
I have that. Thank you. Pursuant to Part 14, Division 9 of the Local Government Act, this is the opportunity for the FERD Board to hear from the public regarding the one development variance permit listed on the agenda for this meeting. Anyone who believes that their interests are affected by the proposed applications will be given an opportunity to speak. If you have any verbal comments with respect to these permits and you are joining us by Zoom on a computer or smart device, I would ask you to please press the raise hand function. When it is your turn to speak, you will be asked to unmute yourself. If you are joining us on Zoom by phone, please press *9, and this will notify staff that you wish to speak. When you are prompted to unmute yourself, please press *6. Those of you wishing to speak are asked to begin your presentation providing your name and address, which will be recorded and form part of the official record. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes and confine your remarks to the application at hand. Please introduce the item.
12.1 is the Boston Bar Water System Development Variance Permit Request.
Madam Chair, I can confirm we have nobody online and we don't have anybody in person, so there would be nobody to make any comments on this item.
All right, thank you. Board directors, EAs. All right, do we have Director Johnson?
Thank you. I am in support of this going forward, so option 1 to issue the development permit.
All right, do we have a seconder? Director Dixon? Any more discussion? No, all in favor? None opposed, motion's carried. Next item.
12.2 is temporary use permit application for the seasonal use of recreational trailers at 12041 Hodgkin Road in Electoral Area C.
Do we have a mover? Director Wardenberg, I have a second by Director Castle. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? None carried. Next item.
13.1 is renewal of the Upper Fraser Valley Notice Dispute Adjudication Registry Agreement.
Moved by Director Horn, second by Director Pranger. All right, so questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
14.1 is an information item. It's the 2024 Floodwater Mosquito Control Season Year-End Report.
Move, Madam Chair.
Moved by, oh, I don't think we need a mover. It was for
Just-
information. Yeah, it's all right. Any questions, comments? No? All right, next item.
14.2 is the Park Inspection Policy Updates.
All right. We do have a motion for this one. We have a mover. Director Jason, second by Director Dixon. Discussion? No, all in favor? Any opposed? None, motion's carried. Next item.
14.3 is the Agricultural Land Commission application for placement of fill at 36041 Hartley Road in Electoral Area F.
Chair Director Davidson, I would like to make a different motion. I don't know if that's on side.
Go ahead and make your motion, Director Davidson.
Thank you. I would like to move that the application be referred back to staff and the applicant for a determination of the application's drainage impact on neighboring properties.
Do we have a seconder? Director Castle. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion? And Director,
Director Davidson, are you in favor? We're not seeing you on the screen.
I am. I guess the opportunity for discussion came and went awfully quickly, so I guess we're past that. But I'm in favor of the motion.
sorry, I actually hadn't, you weren't on screen, so
Oh,
you go ahead
geez.
and make your
My
comments.
mistake. My mistake. I'm so sorry.
There you are. You're there now. I
Yeah.
can see your raise hand function.
Right. Anyway, so we've come this far. My hope is that we can turn this one thing around quickly and move on. Delay should be nominal, and it would just satisfy the neighbors. I know you can certainly make the argument that this is the ALC function, not ours. Challenge on this one is that I've learned that anecdotally in my area, there's been properties where the ALC hasn't been successful in ensuring this. It may be that they do well in the future going forward, but for now, I think we need to just have this one more thing determined, and then we'd be good to go. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Director Dickey.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and the Electoral Areas Committee. We always look to the area director for any issue that comes up for direction, and certainly respect Director Davidson's concerns in regards to this file. There are times when I think that staff advice is strong enough and other advice that we may receive that I find myself voting contrary to the electoral area director's wishes, and I find that this is the case in this circumstance. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, EAs only. We have 3. Opposed? 1, 2, 3. I believe the motion
Motion fails.
fails. Yeah.
So Chair
Alright.
Ross, is there another motion for this item?
Do we have another motion? Director Dickey?
Yes, please. I would like to recommend that the Fraser Valley Regional District forward the application for placement of fill at 36041 Partly Road, electoral area F, to the Agricultural Land Commission.
Do we have a seconder? Director Johnson? Director McCahonic?
I'd like to amend that to say with comment.
I think that's a friendly amendment. I would certainly expect it to
Accept
be
that.
strong comments.
With strong comments, yes. Thank you.
Okay, Director Wardenberg? You're okay? All right, seeing no one else? Oh, Director Davidson, or was that, I thought your hand was raised from prior. Are you speaking again?
I am, so
Okay.
I'm sorry, the amendment with comments, I'm not sure what those comments are. So I'm struggling with what we have before us to vote on right now.
Director McCahonic?
So I would think it would address strong comments, addressing concerns about neighboring properties and flooding to make sure that your concerns would be addressed and make sure that is included. Thank you.
Do we have to be specific at this point? I imagine we do. Would it be possible to see the motion before us on the screen, amended?
Chair Ross, we can certainly ask staff to type up that motion, but maybe while we're waiting for that, perhaps our Director of Planning and Development, Graham Daniluz, could speak to the nature of how we capture comments and how we share them forward to the ALC in these kinds of applications.
Yes, please, Mr. Dallows.
Thank you, Chair. The most forceful and desirable way to capture comments is through a resolution. And so I would encourage the resolution to address the specific concerns that Director Davidson's raised. And the resolution might be to express strong concerns with potential impacts on neighbors and ask the ALC to ensure that there are measures in place to protect neighbors from drainage impacts.
Does that capture your amendment, Director McCahonic?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no other speakers, are we just waiting for this motion to be up on the screen? Is that going to be possible, or?
I think staff are still working on it. You just have to give us a moment.
Okay.
So Chair Ross, just in conferring with staff, the original motion that was put forward was to forward the application with comments. And this does reflect that there's quite a few amendments. So I would suggest that we should be amending the original motion with what has been presented here.
Okay,
If it's agreeable to the mover and seconder.
so it's not considered a friendly amendment. We need a separate motion on the.
Looking to my corporate officer, I don't think there's actually any such thing as a friendly amendment, but I
All right.
I was going to allow a little bit of leeway in the spirit of Christmas. But now that we're adding so many items to this, I think you would be best served to actually move it as an amendment.
All right. So are you moving that, Director McConick?
Yes, I was originally going to make a motion that we use the staff's motion recommendation with the strongly wording. So this is perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, but so this captures your amendment?
I believe this is capturing Director McCahonick's intention behind the amendment. So I'll just read it out for the pleasure of the viewing public, of which I don't think there are any. That the Fraser Valley Regional District Board forward the application for placement of fill at 36041 Hartley Road, Electoral Area F, to the Agricultural Land Commission with comments expressing concerns about potential negative impacts to neighboring properties associated with flooding and drainage, and that the ALC require professional assurance and review that there be no negative impacts to neighbors.
Okay, do we have a seconder on that amendment? Second by Director Dickey. Any more discussion? No? All in favor? This is EA's own.
Director
Oh,
Davidson has
sorry,
his hand
Director
raised.
Davidson, you disappeared. Now you're back. Okay, did you wish to speak to this amendment? You're muted.
I'm sorry, I'm not doing well tonight. I'm totally fine with the amendment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, now all in favor of the amendment? Any opposed? No, the amendment carries. Now on the main motion
As amended.
all in favor?
No, speak.
So sorry, Director Davidson.
I'm actually speaking against the emotion. I know this is a bit of a mind boggle, but to me, I think the line of least resistance is simply to go back to the applicant and say, you know, what impact is going to have on the neighbors. They've got the relationship with the engineers right there. We're very close to sort of mitigating this ongoing community fear. Community trust of the ALC is not high. Community trust of the applicant is not high. And this is an opportunity to regain some of that trust. And I think we're letting that opportunity slide by. So I'm voting against this. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? 3. Okay, motion carries.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item.
14.4 is election of Electoral Area Services Committee Vice Chair.
There's a motion for consideration. Moved by Director Clute, seconded by Director Castle. No comments or questions? All in favor? None opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 15, which is a consent agenda. It's items 15.1 through 15.11. And we can vote these as a block, Chair Ross, or items can be separated.
Are there any items that directors wish to separate out? Director Dixon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I certainly have comments. I'm not so sure if they need to be separated. The ones that I would be commenting on would be 15.1, the general government one, and the soil bylaw one, wherever it shows up. um,
15.3.
yeah, it's, yeah, sorry, I should have had that one, ready. Yes, so I just have comments, and my computer shut down because the battery just died, so.
My suggestion, Chair Ross, would be to ask for any further separations, and then you can vote on the remainder, and then we'll just go through those one by one.
All right. All right, but I wasn't clear, Director Dixon, did you want those two separated
Sure.
out?
Yep, 15.3 and 15.1, I guess it is.
15.1?
Yeah.
Any others? No? Okay.
I'll say call for a motion on the remainder.
Moved by Director Lowen. Do we have a seconder? Director Castle.
No, it's all right. Thank you. though.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, 15.1. Director Dixon, you wish to speak to that?
Thank you. Just when I went home after a very long meeting the other day, that really was good discussion around various budgets and decisions we had to make and things like that. And I did appreciate it. When I got home, I found my budget package from 2017, and this really is just a comment. And what I found and what I felt in a meeting is that the cost of everything is going up substantially. And when I compared 102, just budget 102 specifically to 2017 to 2025, it had doubled, a little bit more than doubled. And really my comment was, I understand we're growing. I understand costs are going up and prices are high and things like that, but it shocked me. And I just thought, always there's good reasons. We added 2 staff members, or potentially we'll add 2 staff members in there. And there's good reason for those, always good reason for those. A lot of times the brunt of those are borne by the electoral areas. And specifically, it seems my area, Area H, in that we don't have any utilities, softening taxation. Our residents in my area pay 96% of the costs, the tax requisitions. And when we add 2 staff members and then possibly a third here in the soil bylaw, it impacts residents, and it really caused me to pause and just say, like I said, I don't have any answers. I know we're growing. I know we need staff, but it did cause me to think. I wonder if there's things that we could do a little differently. That is all. It also caused me to wonder if there's a way that we can balance out these costs somehow, so that one area isn't paying such a substantial portion. I also understand that's regional district budgeting. I just wanted to make those comments tonight.
Thank you. We do need a motion, Director Dickey.
I was going to comment to Director Dixon.
Sure, please.
But is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to express some sympathy for the arguments that Director Dixon makes. I think she and I find ourselves somewhat out of step with the times, but we're seeing escalating costs, and I remind myself that what I'm doing here is supposed to be about representing the people in our communities, and there are many people on fixed incomes, and these escalating costs are really tightening things on them. So these discussions came up at the Electoral Areas Committee when we talked about these budgets, and the consensus was that we would pass these budgets as presented and majority rules. But just thought it was apt that Director Dixon did point out that not everyone was on side with some of these escalating costs. So, thank you.
Thank you. Director Lum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I don't often get an opportunity to comment on these or ask questions on these, and I probably should keep my mouth shut, but I'm gonna not anyways. So 102 is the EA admin budget. Is that, it's 102?
Through the chair to Director Yum, that's correct.
Okay. And so with pieces in that budget, there's some significant increases from 2017 to 2025. That's what I'm hearing from Director Dixon. It almost doubled. What were some of the biggest increases in that budget? Can you?
Through the chair to Director Lum, it is rather difficult here on the fly to go back to 2017 and understand all of the things that would happen in any particular service area. We don't go that far back in certain terms of presenting. The things that are captured in that budget, the large drivers of the expenses are related to EA specific expenses. So EA director remuneration and travel and expenses of that nature. So that could be one of the drivers for sure. I would say that I believe it was in 2018 or 2019 where we did change the board remuneration policy. So that could be one of the key drivers there.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. I don't see any other speakers, but we do need a motion for 15.1. Are you moving approval, Director Castle? Do you have a seconder? Director Adamo? All in favor? And I saw your hand raised already. Director Davidson, thank you. Any opposed? None carried. Motion passes. And now moving down to 15.3.
I'll also move 15.3, please,
Moved
for
by
approval.
Moved by Director Castle, second by Director Wardenberg. Any comments or questions? Seeing none? You didn't wish to speak to this, Dr. Dixon?
My comments really were very similar.
Okay.
You know, and I guess I get that the soil bylaw is a concern. It's very expensive for my area. To add that in, paying $16 opposed where others pay $3, and that's the discrepancy. And really, I just wanted to. I don't know if the municipal board members were, probably you all knew that, but this year it really has hit home in my area that there are some very different things going on in all of our areas. And that I'm just hoping that we, you know, moving forward, we find a way to balance those costs out somehow or other. And maybe there aren't, because that's how it's set up with local government, I think. But that was it. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Dixon. Director Johnson.
Thank you. So I mean, I'm kind of reiterating things that I've already said, but I am going to say it one last time before the vote. And so for Area A, it's really going to be a hardship to hire 3 new staff, HR, finance, and a soil bylaw person. And I really see us having a soil bylaw officer as an effort in futility and a waste of taxpayers' money, when the maximum fine is $5,000 versus the province's $100,000. And even at $100,000 fines, the companies continue to haul and dump on ALR as well as residential properties. Either way, this stuff leaches into the water table, the streams, the lakes, or perhaps all 3, depending where you live. I don't understand why the province doesn't impound their equipment and the haulers' trucks along with the fines. Conservation can do this. They can confiscate your guns, your fishing gear, and your vehicle. Or if I'm speeding excessively, I can be fined and I can have my vehicle impounded. So, is the message then that fish, moose, deer, elk are all more important than our drinking water? Maybe the Minister of Environment should share the passion of the Conservation Department and take meaningful action. In our last meeting with EA directors, I said, we need to push back with the province, suggesting that we hire a soil bylaw person. By pushback, I mean that when our residents call us with concerns about soil deposits or illegal fill, we should direct them to call the Minister of Environment. And if the province doesn't have the personnel to do the job, then they best hire more people. I ask, where is the rationale for the province to have only 3 bylaw officers and then expect local government, the FERD, to also have 3? Have we really come, well, we have come a long way from feudalism in a material sense. But in principle, have we come really that far from lords and serfs? And what happens when the tax burden becomes too great and the backs of the serfs break? Are we looking at a total collapse? Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Director Johnson. Director Castle.
Thank you, Chair Ross. I just want, there's some comments and maybe some misconceptions here. The EA budgets do not hire 3 additional staff. There's one additional staff with regards to the soil deposit bylaw. The other 2 staff that are being referenced, of course, are admin support, and were passed by the board. It is true that not all of our areas are the same. Some areas have very few core services like water and fire protection, while others have other services such as bowling alleys, cable TV, sewage treatment plants, and I wonder how those EA specific services are considered when we're coming to this table talking about equity. Some of our areas, some of our residents require very few services and contribute to the Federation without many services directly benefiting them, while other areas have considerable services that require a lot of administrative support through our EA admin budget and our regional admin budgets, and also a perception that these weren't supported. They were supported by the majority, and in fact, I think there was very few instances where there was more than one that was opposed to the motion. So just a lot of, I guess the word's rhetoric around this table today. And I just want to clarify that I felt that we were coming in East united on these issues. Emails that were going around, congratulating ourselves on the work that we had done. And now we come to this table and give a completely different perception. So I'm happy with the work that we've done as an Electoral Area Services Committee. I'm happy at the prudency by which we've done that work. And I look forward to the support of the board on all these budget items.
Thank you. Director McConaughey.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up. No, I really do. My area in Area E is also 91% is residence tax. We don't really have much for anything else. And it is really tough out there. And for clarification, in response to Director Castle, the soil position, and this is, and I voted in support of these things, all of them. The soil bylaw is EA, but also we were advised that the HR position, the bulk of that cost is borne by the EA areas, not by the full board. So I wanted to make sure that that's clarified. And I just know that our economy right now is really tough. We all know that. I mean, we want to, so we're going to pass this, and we're going to be looking to 2026 going forward. And we have residents that are having a hard time making sure that they can make their payments and keep food on the table for their families. So, and we're looking at, economic trends and possible tariffs that are becoming, that could possibly even drive us into a recession. So that's what we're looking at on the horizon. Things are going to change, and it's going to be a rocky road out there. So I really hope that everyone at this board table will join me in looking at for 226. Let's really think far ahead of time on how we can run lean, and we can, we do need services, but how can we do it in a way that doesn't put everything on the back of our residents, and because I don't know how much more people can take. And yes, we need to have certain services, and I did vote for all of them, and I didn't feel that anybody here had anything negative to say. I think that we're in a public meeting, and people may want their residents to know that they are concerned and that they're supportive and that they do understand that this is a hardship. And I just want to really reiterate that I think we all work very well together and we come together, and I'm really happy that we have the full support of the board in going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Wardenberg?
Yeah, just for clarity, I think we passed all of the budgets except for 15.3, correct? So speaking on that item, the bylaw enforcement, I believe it is a very important thing, as far as I think the costs more than outweigh the expense. I think it gives us, I think we are bringing up things that were already discussed at these meetings. I don't think we need to reconstitute those things. We all are in agreement that there are inequities, and yeah, how do we approach those inequities? I think we all realize what they are now. So that might be something that we consider as we move forward. And as far as this bylaw, I think it's very important. I think examples today reiterate the need for it. Yeah, it's an expense. And so I would vote for that budget 207. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Davidson?
Thank you. Thank you. Just to the municipal directors, just a reminder that the motion that you see before us was approved by a majority of East. And to Director Johnson's comments about enforcement, I wholeheartedly agree, but advocacy for greater enforcement is a separate process, and we can't enforce what we don't have a regulation in place for. So can't have one without the other, but we got to work on both. So I support the motion. Thank you.
Yeah, Director Dixon.
Final comment, for me anyway. My intention really was not to say I don't support any of this, and so I apologize for that. It was just an awareness. I learned a lot through this budget season, and I'm 10 years into this, and there were some surprises, and so I appreciate Dr. McMahon today now over there, trying to explain what I was hoping I was saying, and obviously, so thank you for that. We did have we had a good discussion, and there was support, and in some cases it wasn't unanimous, was probably a better choice of words. But I think that's what makes this good. I'm fully prepared to respect the wishes of the board here tonight and move forward. I think we do good work. And so thank you for this time.
Thank you. All right, seeing no more speakers, I'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? We have just one opposed. All right, thank you. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Moving down to reports by board directors.
All right, anyone? Director Facio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just two comments. Next Friday, the 20th of December at 1 p.m., there'll be the official opening of the new children's play area on the beach, and it's something I believe all of you should have time, whether you do it next Friday or whenever you're down in Harrison. It's an outstanding area, and it's accessible as well.
for all types of children. It's just an outstanding design. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's hard to describe, but I'll let you folks make up your own minds when you visit Harrison. And my second comment is to all the directors, I love you all. And to our staff, I love you all, and Merry Christmas and a very happy, healthy, and New Year. Thank you very much.
You, Leo? Anyone else? Director Horn.
Thank you. Picking up on the conversation that was a part of our last item, myself, Director Gill, and members of Mission Council toured a site in Mission that offers, I think, considerable hope for our concerns regarding illegal soil dumping in the Fraser Valley. Some of you may be familiar with a company that we're proud to say is from Mission, Summit Earthworks. They have a soil remediation facility at our Minis Pit landfill. We toured that a few months ago, and another one off Gill Avenue. But the site we toured the other day is 8 acres and has come already before council for first reading of OCP and referrals out to various bodies. And the news appears to be good. The Ministry of Environment is accelerating the process for environmental review as well. That facility, if approved by Mission Council, would offer a soil washing technology that would expedite soils coming in for remediation, even those contaminated with significant amounts of hydrocarbons, and do so in a way, because of its accessibility, that should make it a competitive option for as an alternative to those farming sites that are currently in Director Davidson's, Director Castle's, and many other and Director Dixon's ridings areas, I should say. We'll keep you posted. It's obvious that council will have to deal with it through the public hearing process and so forth, but wanted to let you know that there is hope that there will be a ready solution in the next few months.
Thank you. Director Dickey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And on the same issue, just referring to Director Seaman's comments and the difficulties that the city of Abbotsford is encountering in trying to control these illegal soil deposits. The depth of the pockets of the city of Abbotsford in comparison to the electoral areas is somewhat a contrast. And I worry about the utility of this going forward, but we will do our best. Thank you.
Dr. Siemens.
I just couldn't help but comment on the depths of pockets. Just as we have a population that's almost 170,000, if not over. 75% of our land is in the agricultural land reserve, and that gives us less than 2% of our tax requisition. So we don't have deep pockets. We have to be very prudent, and to speak to our electoral area folks, we feel the pain very acutely on all those issues, and the municipalities are facing those same challenges. So it's not easy for us to raise our fees, taxes to our residents either. But we have very few services that we can cut. We get downloaded a lot from senior levels of government. So just wanted to put it in perspective, but we have a large jurisdiction, but we also have huge responsibilities. So in the spirit of those things, we feel your pain. And just because we're a large entity doesn't mean we don't have the same pressures. So, but on that note, I still thank you for Mr. Facio, for our Director Facio, for your kind words, and always positive and upbeat. So from Abbotsford as well, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. We have more flights, affordable flights coming out of Abbotsford Airport, just announced today. So,
right, Director Pranger.
Thank you. Following up on Director Siemens, 1% tax increase only nets the District of Kent $75,000. Most of our land is in the ALR. We feel the pain, and we sympathize with all of our EA directors for the hard work they do and for the services that are difficult to deliver. And we appreciate the support around the table for decisions that are not easy to make. And I wish everyone a healthy, happy 2025 and a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Dixon.
Well, thanks to both Director Siemens and Director Pranger and Director Frascio. You know, I do appreciate hearing your feedback and your perspective in the agricultural land. And I really, it's everywhere and everywhere we turn. And I understand that and I get that. And so we move on, but I do want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And if you ever just need to come to Cultus Lake and see some really fancy lights, they are right there at Main Beach. So I enjoy working with all of you. Have a great holiday.
And Director McConnell.
So thank you. I just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays and a safe and peaceful holiday. And thank you everyone for your kind words. And I really want to end our year on a positive note as a board. And like I said, you know, moving into 2026, things, you know, are going to be tougher, and that for all of us and the people that we represent. But by working together, I really think, you know, we can make a difference. And I think that's why we're all sitting here. And I wanted to take the opportunity to thank our really hardworking and professional staff team. You know, I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And that's it. So happy holidays.
Thank you, Director Gill.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate my colleagues around the table and the staff on the professionalism they've delivered throughout this whole year. And so Merry Christmas. I'm from the city of Mission, and on December 15th, Santa Claus is actually going to be in Mission. I don't know why I didn't go to Alsport, but it's coming to Mission. So everyone's invited to the rec center for holiday magic.
Director Adamo.
Thanks very much, and a very Merry Christmas to everyone as well. And if you're looking for the true winter spirit, I'm sure that you will find snow in the Sunshine Valley if you happen to be around through the holiday season and have the opportunity. We'd be more than happy to welcome you. So happy, safe holidays, everyone, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you. And a final comment for me. I just want to wish a warm, wonderful holiday filled with peace and joy to the wonderful people that we all represent. And if only they knew how incredibly hard the people around this table work on their behalf to improve their quality of life. I wish they did, but I see you, and I want to say thank you and how privileged I feel to be your chair. And thank you all for your hard work, and also to our amazing staff who work so hard every day, and you support us, and the research you do to help us make good decisions does not go unnoticed, and we appreciate it very much. So have a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you. So next item, please.
So, no, slow down. We have one more item.
Yeah, one more item, please.
Moving to public question period for items relevant to the agenda. We have no members of the public in our boardroom. I can see from Jamie's computer, we have no members of the public joining us online. So no written questions. So we may move for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Reed. All in favor? Unopposed, carried.